You keep saying you love your children and are willing to die for them, but you can't even guarantee an hour of intimate interaction with them every day. What kind of love is that? Every time I see successful people giving lectures or interviews in the media, saying that they have dedicated their entire lives to their work and don't have time to be with their children, it's so touching. Can I slap you in the face? We value family, but often subconsciously, we admire the idea of making a name for ourselves and neglecting our family, ignoring our children, and disregarding family relationships. Not only are we not criticized for this, but it has become a capital for successful people to boast about the sacrifices they have made. I am a very narrow-minded person. In my view, true success is when the people around you feel happy because of you. If you gain the world but lose your family, then your success is nothing but a bubble. I know a strong woman who is very ambitious, obtained an MBA, and has been rising in her career without equal. However, her child has been living elsewhere for a long time, looked after by a nanny. The child is now 9 years old, and for many years they have only seen each other once a year. Does she think she's Santa Claus? I have interviewed many celebrities, amazing artists, photographers, and performers. When asked when they spend time with their children, some of them responded, "I don't have time to be with my children. They are still young and don't understand. I am working hard now to earn more money, to provide a good foundation for my children's future." But do they know what the children want? We have conducted several surveys, and the children's voices are, "Mum, Dad, I hope you are not so successful. I don't want expensive toys. I just want you to be with me." I also know a couple, both with doctoral degrees, now both associate professors. It took them 3 years and all kinds of efforts to get pregnant. To protect the fetus, the wife lay in bed for a full 8 months. I was quite touched. It's not easy. But as soon as the confinement period was over, they sent the child back to their hometown like a delivery package. When are they going to pick up the child? At least 3 to 5 years later. The reason: we never liked children. Having a child is just a social custom. Did they read so many books just to stop speaking like humans? Not personally taking care of your own children is neglect. Irresponsible parents are too easily accepted by public opinion. Using the excuse of being busy with work, they openly hand over their children to their grandparents, hire a nanny to replace themselves. Relevant surveys show that the higher the parents' education level, the lower the proportion of parents who take care of their children themselves. The better the economic situation, the lower the proportion of parents who take care of their children themselves. Having the grandparents take care of the children, the success rate is not higher than 30%, because the older generation mostly uses traditional methods, lying to the children. Using phrases like "be careful" and "don't go" to hinder the children's creativity and adventurous spirit. Being stingy, speaking ill of the child's parents in front of the child, and so on. In some cultures, there is too much emphasis on reproduction as a right, and even a duty, forgetting the most important point, that reproduction is a responsibility. If you are not sure if you can provide enough time to be with your children, please do not hastily have children. In Rich Dad, Poor Dad, there is a phrase, so-called success is having time to take care of your children. Of course, this does not mean that one of the couple must quit their job and take care of the children full-time. But as parents, have you done everything you can to provide the highest quality of parent-child companionship for your children in the case where both sides have to work? Have you taken the time after work and on weekends to be with your children, pay attention to what they want to do, take them out to explore the world, and enjoy life together? I always thought that the most important measure of caring for someone is not money but time. For a person, time is much more limited than money. You keep saying you love your children and are willing to die for them, but you can't even guarantee an hour of intimate interaction with them every day. What kind of love is that? A friend of mine complains all the time that his child is not close to him, but loves his grandparents. Every time, I can accurately give him a scolding. I tell him that he's the one to blame. You don't spend enough time with your child. You and your wife go on trips without the child. And at home, you just play video games and ignore the child. You can't expect results without putting in the effort. Early childhood education experts have said that children are experts at studying adults. They can tell who is sincere towards them. Many people say, "I'm busy, I don't have time. I have a lot of meetings and socializing that I can't decline." Being busy is not an excuse for not caring about someone or something. As early childhood education experts have said, no job can take up a person's entire 24 hours. It's all about priorities. If you treat your child as the most important meeting, you can make time for them no matter how busy you are. Family education and psychology experts have pointed out that the period from 0 to 12 years old, especially from 0 to 6 years old, is a critical period for growth, and parents should not be separated from their children. They should not use any excuse to be separated from their children, or even ignore them while they are around. Whether children can establish a close attachment with their parents, especially their mother, is related to the establishment of their sense of security and happiness throughout their lives. It is a recognized fact among education experts that 1 minute spent with parents from 0 to 6 years old is worth more than a year spent with them later on. So please don't say stupid things like, "The child is still young. It doesn't matter who is with them." Many of my friends around me say that they are not close to their parents. They have a distant relationship, just like strangers. This is because they grew up with their grandparents or nannies, and there is always a layer of emotional distance from their parents. Even if the family is reunited later, it is difficult to form that intimate feeling. The regret caused by the absence of parents during childhood is very difficult to make up for. There is a novel that talks about a psychological doctor. Before the age of 3, the mother left her to be raised elsewhere and lived with her sister. When they were reunited, she felt that her mother was not close to her and favored her sister more. 50 years later, she still felt that unfairness. When I realized this truth, I felt deeply guilty. If I write fewer books or screenplays, it's no big deal. How can I use wanting to do more meaningful work and realizing my own value as a reason to turn my child's hope for me to spend more time with them into a luxury? Am I still a person? So, every parent, have you made the realization of sacrificing career advancement, sacrificing rest time, and sacrificing self-realization for your children? Many of my friends around me, because they are not ready to sacrifice their freedom for their children, have decided not to have children. I think that these parents are more responsible than those who have children but do not raise them.